The line between the living and the dead is more fragile than we'd like to believe. Every so often it breaks open, revealing something unsettling, like a girl on a lonely road who disappears without a trace as if she never really belonged there to begin with. Some of us see shadows, more than just darkness, watching from the doorways, warning us to leave things buried. Take from the dead, and the dead don't forget. They linger, relentless, until you realize some things are not ours to take. Then, there are shadows that don't obey the rules, with vague forms, hollow eyes, almost human, but without life. These beings slip into our world, bringing with them fragments of another place, filled with unquiet memories and a lingering sense of dread. In moments like these, you begin to question where reality truly ends, and once you've seen them, that certainty is gone. We'll see you on the inside.
All right. I'll try not to let this funk come out. I've been in a funk the last couple days.
Yeah, it is actually not you that I'm afraid of the funk coming out of, so don't even trip on that. If anything, your funk, or my funk, maybe a super funk, maybe it's what the people need. I have no idea.
Funk. We don't have a funk song yet.
It is actually in development. I want a funk episode.
I can deal with funk.
Hell yeah.
That weird stuff you put out there.
Oh, there's plenty of weird stuff. Yeah, I have not been in a good place for like the last few days.
Have you started taking vitamin D?
I started taking vitamin D. I started taking creatine. I took pretty much everything across the board. I spent $140 on vitamins just to try to break out of this. And so I'm hoping one of those works. But
yeah, I feel your pain. I've been going through it too.
It is not fun. You probably more so, I can imagine.
Yeah, some of it is like, I'm sick. I can't do anything for 2 days. Let's just deal with everything on those 2 days. So,
get it all out.
So now I'm just like exhausted.
Emotions, man, they'll do that to you.
Especially when you're Generation X. Those things were beat out of us back then.
Beat it out of them. Yeah, I've been almost like in like full on panic attack mode just to sit down and record this.
Why?
I don't know. Well, I kind of do know, but it's also, I'm stubborn in general. So I'm like, yeah, fuck it. I can do it. You know? Yeah. Because most of the time I'm just like, oh, here we go again, you know? But like for whatever reason, this particular one, and this being on recording is weird because technically these won't come out for a few months. And so people are going to like watch it when Sleep with the Lights On comes back and be like, hey, it seems like the exact same fucking show. But in reality, I actually just cut it off yesterday on the Facebook group. So this is still the same. We got 2 more episodes until the new stuff. Once after 32, I want to say, or 33, it's going to be reformatted. Not reformatted so much as just trying to figure things out and find something that really flows well with us. Yeah, and that's why. And honestly, when I posted that, all I wanted to say was, hey, we're going to take a little holiday break. We'll probably start this up again in January. Didn't say a fucking word of that, and everything came out like, hey, I'm stressed out and angry all the fucking time, and this isn't me. And so that's a little peek behind the old curtain of the comedy show that you're watching, if that's if we can call it that still. Let's see if we get super funky. Let's see if this is a funk episode. Y'all ready? Okay, that works. You weren't here for the monologues because I recorded them previously on Sleep with the Lights On. No, but we're going to be doing 3 scary stories.
Okay.
Not sure if you're aware of that. That's usually what we do on the show.
And also, previously on Sleep with the Lights On, sounds like something we can use in the future.
That
Scott,
does sound like a fun, but
clip that out or pay attention to that. That sounds like something that we
just
can
us
come back
yelling
to.
at each other for 45 seconds from different shows and be like, okay, all right, and now back to the show.
No, it just triggered something. Like, I think we can use that saying in the future.
What would be really funny is to do previously on and then have the footage after that be nothing that anyone's ever seen before. It's just like stuff that I cut out of the other episodes.
That or us running around screaming or just ridiculous stuff.
I can get on board with that. So anyway.
That people wouldn't expect.
Folks, welcome back to Sleep with the Lights On. If you were not aware of the 5 minutes of rambling, that's where we are.
That's how we warm up our voices.
That's how we warm up our voices. We did it. Okay. It's fine. Am I going to have a public meltdown on the show? Who's to say?
Please don't.
I think that'd be really great for views. I think, if I sacrificed my own dignity for the sake of the YouTube channel or something, I feel like that would be pretty great. But I'm not going to do it because I'm going to try to keep it together like I've been doing for many years. Let's get into this first story. It's called An Old Can of Bud. And it's the worst title for this story. Literally, that's what I'm saying. Like, I was in such a weird funk. I'm like, I read the story 3 times. I'm like, I don't know what to call this. And there's a million other options better than this. And I chose this.
I like the title.
Old Can of Bud. That's by Poopy Sticky Pants 916. So a credible source, no doubt. And it reads,
as credible as any source anybody gets these days.
Okie dokie. Trying to bait me in with that one. It's not going to work.
I was doing no such
Me
thing.
and my friends, after leaving a high school graduation party in June of 2000, picked up a girl walking by herself on a country road at 4 a.m.
This sounds fishy.
She looked like a tall, creepy, skinny lady walking fast. We only saw her in the headlights, her back facing us. There were no streetlights or houses. When we drove up next to her, it wasn't an older woman. It was a girl about 15 or 16 years old. It was like she changed somehow. We asked if she needed help or was lost, and she said she was at a party and left and was trying to get to town. I told her she was going the wrong way and would get lost, so we offered her a short ride to town. She gets in the back and is sitting right next to me. She says she goes to our school, but we don't recognize her. She asks if we knew her friends, but we never heard of them. My friend notices a beer can she is holding in her lap and asks where she got it. I look down, and she had a can of Budweiser holding it with both hands in her lap. She says her friend at the party gave it to her. My friend then says he hasn't seen one of those cans in 10 years. I look again, and it's an old Budweiser can, and my mind is blown, and I think it's impossible for her to have that can. Who goes to a high school party and drinks old cans of Budweiser? I will stop right there and say probably anyone that can get their hands on any kind of Budweiser at that age is probably who's going to be drinking that. After a couple of minutes, we reach a gas station in town. In front of the highway and on the side across the street is an old factory that makes big underground clay pipes. It's probably over 100 years old. It's closed, fenced, and locked. The town is dead, silent. No other cars on the roads. I get out, and she gets out, but she doesn't go to the gas station payphone. She walks past me towards the factory. I call out to my friends to watch her because now I have a weird feeling something is going to happen, and about 20 feet away, she just disappears and is gone. It was instant like a flash. She just vanished so fast. Well, kind of giving off the old or the lady in white vibes, the streetwalker. That's a weird term for it, probably.
Yeah, that was not really the term we were looking for, but
I'm not going to call them prostitutes anymore. You don't got to worry about that.
sex workers.
Okie dokie. A little creepy about the description, though.
Yeah, and it feels like a good don't drink and drive story.
So just to recap, all this was in their heads because they were drunk and driving a vehicle? Is that what you're saying?
No, I'm thinking this is the ghost of somebody that...
Oh, perhaps
that's
lost her life on the road.
Or at a party, but... Or maybe at the factory. Maybe it was a break 10 years prior.
Hey, pass me that can of Bud.
I mean, that's the way it used to be back in the day. When I was a kid, that everybody was drinking at work, I think.
Yeah, I didn't really get it on the first read of this, but as I was reading it now, it's a little strange that the author of this story, being in high school, right?
Right.
Knows how old that can of Budweiser is.
I think.
So if he's 15, he's like, I haven't seen a can like that in 10 years. And you're like, when you were 5? I don't even know if you'd remember that.
I remember what old cans look like. So, like.
So it could just be like a.
Even when I was a kid, you could look back and see some, especially because my dad drank Coors all my life.
Some gourmet shit.
Yeah. It's Banquet.
Banquet. Isn't that some gourmet shit?
I don't know.
Isn't that what
it didn't taste like it to me, but that's just me.
That's all right, I guess.
But I remember when I was a kid seeing old beer cans, and there is a difference. Maybe
And I
not.
guess if you're used to seeing someone drink a lot, like if this guy's dad was a heavy drinker, so I'm always like one of those like 32 packs.
Yeah.
I don't even know. That's not even a proper number, 36 maybe. Yeah, so maybe that's that kind of recognition. I guess it makes sense. For whatever reason, I read that I'm like, wait, when he was 5 years old, or is he like 40 picking up this 15-year-old? You know?
Well, also maybe the last 10 to 20 years, the cans have been basically the same that we get. But before then, they were trying
Pretty
out
lazy.
different designs.
Yeah.
What worked best. I mean, including more. I remember when I was a kid, they had the different pop caps
Hell yeah.
that they made it an episode of Emergency One because people would put them in their beer can and drink and choke on them.
Why would they put them in their beer can?
Because I guess they didn't want to have clutter around.
Wow.
Now, I can attest to this because I've seen it done by my dad and his friends when I was a kid.
That's so weird.
Yeah, but
I've never heard that.
remembered what being about probably 7 to 10
Who
years
even
old.
breaks it off?
Well, back then you just ripped it off. It was like a little tab that you pulled and it pulled the whole piece off.
Wow. You learn something new every day,
Yeah,
turns out.
these modern cans that you're used to, that's not the way it always used to be. But anyway, back to the story.
Creepy. Do you think maybe the creepy, the visual, the creepy old lady walking fast, number one, scary to think about, don't do it, is because she died like a really long time ago?
Maybe she was older when she died, and then
she's hot.
The ghost just kind of appeared to the teenagers in a more like a helpless way, or a way that they would maybe take more pity upon them. Who knows the mechanics of ghosting?
Well, not me, that's for sure.
I do like a good ghost story where you interact with the ghost, on the side of the road or something like that.
Or she forgets her sweater in your car and you bring it back to the address and you're like, it's abandoned.
Yeah.
Like, she's been dead for 80 years. You're like, oh my God. What about her sweater though? This next story is called The Grave Robbers, and it's by Mundane Priority 2039. This isn't my story, but my best friend and 2 other friends ended up getting haunted by a spirit because the latter 2 stole a necklace or offering off of a grave in Centralia during a visit over 10 years ago. I plan on posting a detailed account regarding the shit they saw, how they were physically attacked and mentally tortured over the course of a few years.
Deserved. Totally deserved.
I mean, for sure. This whole incident solidified my belief in the paranormal. Ah, yes, another one. Since bringing the item off the grave back to their apartment, strange, unexplainable things began occurring that were witnessed by well over 20 people who came and went during those years. My friends shared a 2-bedroom apartment, and they began to see a shadow man in increasing frequency. They kept it to themselves, but then my buddy's girlfriend would start waking him up almost in tears, saying, "Andrew, there's a man in the bedroom doorway." Now, this part is creepy to me. Both my friends' rooms were attached so that their doorways made an L into the main hallway. Andrew tells me that one night they were both laying in their rooms and with their doors open so they could talk. Andrew was looking down when he heard his roommate say in a shaking voice, "Hey, Drew, are you looking out into the hallway?" "Yeah, man." And then he continued, "Please tell me you see him too." "I see what you're seeing," he trailed off. They were both looking at a huge shadow man that at least 3 people in the apartment had been seeing. My friend somehow shook himself back to reality and gathered the courage to start saying, hey you, leave us alone and get lost." Wow, really intimidating to the shadow man. It was only after he stood up and walked toward the man that he vanished into thin air. Not a treat, not what you want to see in the comfort of your own home.
Why would you take something from a grave?
Yeah, that is a pretty weird thing to do, turns out. And like same for people that take rocks or whatever off beaches that are supposedly cursed and all that. Is that Hawaii? Am I thinking Hawaii?
You're thinking Brady Bunch episode from Hawaii?
I do remember that episode, but no, I'm talking other stories as well. That may have been the base that got things kicked off, but
In high school, one of my coaches was Hawaiian, and on our way to our baseball games and stuff, he'd always tell us creepy
stories.
Yeah, creepy Hawaiian stories where if you take something, bad things happen.
And everyone's like, wow, I want to do that.
But I could understand making a mistake in a place like Hawaii and taking a rock or
Sure.
something sacred.
Something off a grave, on the other hand.
That's pretty obvious. That's not for you.
Yeah.
It's not for sticky
Ooh,
fingers.
a gift someone left me on a stranger's grave.
Yeah, and there may be attachments to that particular piece of.
And it turns out there is,
Destrious.
Wow.
Destrious, yes. I think that's the word.
Ooh, fancy. It is kind of funny. I've always wondered if there would be a time when I saw something where I was like, you know what? Nah, not today, friend. I've done it one time in my life when I was in Vegas with the weird dude peeping me, Never again. Usually when I see shit, I'm like, oh, fuck. The fuck is that? Okay, back to sleep.
Just tell
let's
it.
Finish this up. Wrap it up. Let's go.
Tell it you don't have time for this.
The one time I did it, it reacted very shocked. So, hey, maybe that's the move. Tell it to fuck off. Say, hey, you, get out.
Why do you automatically have to say stuff like that? Just say, hey, this isn't cool. It's scaring me. Leave me alone.
If something is intimidating you, you got to be like, oh, I can get you too, man. All right. It's not just one-sided. This is a two-way battle. All right, friend.
It's just a shadow person. What are they going to do but be a shadow? It's just a little annoying, man.
I never thought about that. What are they going to do but be a shadow? Just move in the light? Oh, damn it. No, he got me again. Yeah, that'd be interesting. Speaking of shadows, actually, the third story in this is probably the shortest story we've ever had on this show, and it's about a shadow person, but for whatever reason, it grabbed me. Grabbed me, and I should actually, let's just get into that. Let's dive on in.
Yeah, we want to see if it grabs us.
Yeah, sorry for the crazy short story, but I enjoyed this, and you're riding my ship, all right, friend?
Oh, Scott's the captain now.
I'm the captain now, all right?
I knew that was coming.
Come at me, bro. Come at me. Anyway, it's called a 3D shadow. And I literally in parentheses, but short, but weird. And it's by Single Raspberry 9539. Ah, yes, of course. It says, I once saw something strange that I could never explain. It was a 3D shadow, like an old woman in curlers and a nightgown. I could see all that, but nothing else. No color, no real eyes or discernible features, but definitely an object versus what you would normally recognize as a shadow. So it's like, I told you it was short. So it's like this, it is almost like a 3D rendering before it's like textured and everything like that. It's just like this weird blob, like gray blob, but you can see all the details without seeing any of the details. Does that make sense?
No, but it could make sense if you're seeing maybe not a shadow person, but a demonic entity.
And curlers and a nightgown, as is tradition.
You say it was like kind of like a blob, but you could see the details. So you're seeing something horrifying, and your mind's like, chill out. Let me put some
just
old
an
lady.
Old lady in curlers.
Yeah, this is something you can understand.
Wow.
You may not understand the perfection of the demonic entity in your room right now.
Hey, why not? Who wants to? It's just like, what a strange, there's ghosts, there's shadow people, right?
That's what they say.
That's what they say. Why is it that some ghosts, because we've done episodes on full body apparitions, right? Where you're looking and like, hey, that's a human being. And then they just vanish. I mean, even the first story in this, you're like, hey, that's a human being. And then they vanish. Then there's vague shaped shadow, like almost like, morph suits or whatever. Just a random silhouette, And then there's this fucking thing where it's like, it's literally detailed where you're like, that is an old woman in curlers. But why can't she just be a ghost? You know what I mean? Why can't she just look like that? Why she got to be a shadow person? Why are there shadow people? That's what I want to know. Is it, this doesn't sound demonic. This sounds weird, right? It just sounds like a weird thing to fucking see. Would I think it's demonic if I witnessed it personally? Absolutely. But hearing it secondhand, you're kind of like,
There used to be a commercial, and it's one of the phrases was, the mind is a powerful thing
to waste.
Something like that.
Isn't that
some college commercial?
Isn't that the United Negro College Fund?
I don't remember. It's been a long time.
I believe it is. And how do I remember that and you don't? But it's fine. The mind is a terrible thing to waste.
I just wanted to see you say Negro.
You got me. Yeah. Yep. It's a weird one.
Canceled.
Oh, you can't cancel me, man. Like, honestly, it's impossible.
Is
It's
that
impossible. The only person that can actually cancel me is myself because I get in my own head. All right. But you guys just say whatever you want. I don't care. Or call me whatever you want. I don't care. But you're wrong, probably. And not in this America. Okay. No, sorry. That's the end. That's the end of the show. All right. So
felt like I was at work the other day.
it sounds like you've got great coworkers.
I was the one saying it.
It sounds like your coworkers have a horrible coworker. That's fine. What was your favorite story of today's episode, Christian?
The very first one.
It's hard to beat that, right?
I like a good ghost in the, a ghost hitchhiker or
Lady in
like
White type sitch. Yeah.
Even back when we did our tsunami episode.
That was a great episode.
Yeah.
A lot of fun stories in that, turns out.
Fun might be the wrong word.
It was a great time. Everyone was having a hoot. I remember it in my mind's eye. Yeah. Yeah, I think I agree. Just a strange thing to witness. I wish I had a story like that. But actually, do you ever think when you're passing hitchhikers on the road that they're ghosts? And you're like, I'm not going to let this fucking ghost into my car. Good luck.
I have never picked up a hitchhiker, so maybe I do that. Ghosts, demons, whatever.
Yeah, there was one time I was driving to work
Shapeshifter
at like 3 a.m. And there was a chick on the side of the road. She looked like she was probably like not goth, but alternative. And just thumbing down the road at 3 a.m. I'm like, well, I should really be a good Samaritan here. And I was like, there's apartments like, no, definitely not that. Definitely don't do that. Because I know what happens, I die.
It's Alaska's a weird place when you see somebody hitchhiking. Sometimes
really
I feel the guilt.
Yeah.
But my mama made me afraid of hitchhikers back when I was a wee boy.
And we've read enough stories of them in the past that it's going to be a no for me. I'm not picking up strangers. I can barely tolerate the people in my life, all right? You want me to take on a stranger? Ugh. Just kidding. It's fine. As I talk to a bunch of strangers on the internet. Oopsie. See you later. And remember to sleep with the lights on because you never know what is lurking in the shadows. Goodbye.
Your voice is weird.
My voice is very it feels like there's a frog in my throat, but it's not coming out. And it hasn't come out.
You got me sick.
No, this is from, I think, when China got us sick.
That might be. Be scared.
Look at that, merch for a podcast about ghosts and crap. It's pretty neat. Hey, what a treat. Support the show and rock some swag. If kids are still saying stuff like that, we love you, what a weird song. Buy a t-shirt with TFT thong. Just kidding about that last part, but it's funny all the same. I think the song's over, I'm going insane. Ooh.